Hi, welcome to Stretch and Release. I'm Coach Wade. Today we are doing, if you're doing the Level Up program with us right now at TMMKfitness, we're going to be going through Flexibility A in Phase 3. So the first thing in that one is a side bend, standing up. There's a lot of different variations to this, but we're going to start with the most basic and we'll kind of add some levels as we go. And then just follow along with me when you're ready. So right now you're thinking head tall, get your shoulders down and back, let that head kind of grow towards the ceiling. Keep your feet firmly planted in the ground, and then with that right hand, go ahead and start sinking down to the side. As you're sinking, I want you to try and think about pushing that left heel down in the ground, letting your hips almost come to the side a little bit, and you'll feel that all stretch through the side, but we're just doing a side bend right here. Our goal right now is 30 seconds going each direction. Everything we're doing today is 30 seconds long. I may time it at 35 or 40 seconds, but I'll have you try and follow along with those 30-second rounds with me the best you can. When you're finished on that side, go ahead and head to the other side. And right now we're doing the most basic version of it. Right now your right heel is planted in the ground. You're leaning over to the side. A common way to kind of cheat on this one is you'll see people kind of leaning forward to get a little further. But again, you want to think about that head being tall, your body is nice and straight, and then you're just going straight over to the side if you can. We got 5, 4, 3, 2, and go ahead and have a seat. So this one is a seated straddle stretch, and there's a few variations to this too. Right now you're taking a real wide stance with your feet, hand over hand. I'll have you slowly just start coming forward. Right now you're feeling that stretch. For me, I'm feeling it in my lower back and my hamstrings. And I think for the majority of you, that's where you'll feel it. A few of you may be able to bring that nose all the way to the ground, which is awesome. As you can see, I'm not quite there, but if that's you and you can get down that low, awesome. I'll have you guys drop all the way down there. Otherwise, once you're done in the center, we'll switch off to that left side, hand over hand, kind of coming over to that leg. And there's a few ways to do this. You can put one hand here, and you'll see some people doing kind of a side bend over to the side. Right now, I'm just hand over hand, coming over to the left. And again, I'm feeling all those same things, but it's a little bit more focused on the left. As I'm coming over to this leg, I feel more hamstring, still feeling that lower back. Go ahead and switch to the right. Doing 30 seconds in each position. Taking some nice deep breaths. Every exhale, you should see that you're able to sink just a little lower into that stretch. So deep breath in, and slowly exhale. See if you can get another inch down. And then a couple more seconds here. When you're ready, our next one is a laying floor angel. I'm going to show you a few different ways and versions on this one. So a lot of people will have some issues with shoulder mobility, and for you, a good way to do this exercise may be just to allow your hands to come down to the ground and then hang out here for 30 seconds. So right now I can still feel that. I have the ability to move a little bit. I don't have as much range of motion as some of you may have, but I'll bring my elbows down, trying to keep my hands on the ground the whole time. Right now my lower back is touching, my hips are touching, my shoulders are touching, and ideally the top of my hands are touching. And you'll just raise them up, raise them down, let them slide up and down. But for some of you, again, just getting your hands on the ground like that may be enough. And then we'll get some more into that on our rounds 2 and our rounds 3. But next, coming over to that side bend again. This version I'm going to do on my knees. On your knees takes a little bit out of the ankle and the calf, but it puts a little bit more of the stretch through the hips, through the obliques, and through your side. So you'll see if you can drop that hand down to the ground. So this is just another alternate to the same thing. But right now I'm thinking about driving that knee down. And a lot of times when you reduce the amount of body parts being stretched, you'll feel more stretch in those areas that are left. So this can help you get a little bit more targeted through the side here, but it doesn't stretch as many body parts. So it has pros and cons to it. And then I see on some of these I'm taking longer than 30 seconds. I do like to talk a little bit, so we may go a little bit faster these last few rounds. Go ahead and drop that other side down. And again, as you drop down, before you start, Thinking about head tall, body straight, and then dropping straight over to the side. Again, one temptation, instead of going straight to the side, is that you kind of lean forward, or that your shoulders round down to reach further down. So you want everything in that locked in position before you start. Deep breath, tall, and then exhale into the side. When you're finished, back to that seated straddle. Rotating them through these pretty quick. So legs wide, hand over hand, and then just coming down to center. If you guys are signed up for Level Up, again, this is Flexibility A on Phase 3. So when you're counting this for the program, you can either count it as instructor-led, or you can count this as your Flexibility A, either one. And then again, every exhale, seeing if you can sink just a little further. And then this time I'm gonna go over to my opposite side, and then hand over hand. Sometimes you'll see people just doing one hand. Typically, I think going hand over hand, you'll feel just a little bit more stretch. But again, there's a lot of ways to do this. Some people will put that hand on the foot and then curl across with their arm. So every different position, you'll focus on stretching kind of some different muscles in there. When you're curling the arm up across the side, you'll feel a lot through the lats, through the obliques. But we already have some of that getting stretched with our side bend. Switch sides. So kind of up to you whether you want to add some of those other elements or not. Just because I'm doing one version doesn't mean that you need to do the exact same version. Taking a few breaths here, deep breath in, slow exhale out. And then laying back down on that floor. So again, the most important things on this is that your lower back is down, your shoulders are down, touching your elbows to the ground, and then just allowing your hands to come down. If that's enough, awesome. If you want to add some more, reaching those hands up and back down. And I do have the ability to probably reach my arms all the way up, but when I reach my arms all the way up, my shoulder starts to come up towards my ear. So for me, my range of motion is stopping right here. That's the highest I can get with my shoulder in the correct position. Any higher, and it starts to raise up to my ear, I have to kind of scrunch my neck. So doing that, whatever your range of motion is, doing that to the best of your ability. Next, coming up to that side bend one more time. And again, there's a whole lot of options here. Reaching that arm over to the side. If you want to reach this other arm up as well, get some stretch across the side, awesome. Otherwise, you can just stand straight and coming over to the side. But a lot of different varieties and options. A lot of people like a hand up here and feeling a little bit more stretch going on through the lats. But it's whatever feels comfortable to you right now. Thinking about driving that opposite heel down, putting all that tension here. Your feet should feel strong and sturdy. So you bend over to the side and then switch sides. Again, before you start, head tall. You notice I'm even correcting myself on occasion. Sometimes I have a tendency just to go really quick into the next thing without centering where I should be. So making sure you find that center before you start is very helpful. And we're going through fairly quickly. I'm trying to speed us through here a little bit. Good. Go ahead and sit down in that seated straddle. But finding that base is always helpful before you start. And reaching forward, these will just do 10 seconds for time's sake. Because as we've been cruising through these, noticed a few of them have been about 40 seconds. So doing my best to follow the time, but we're gonna go a little over 10 minutes today. Reaching forward even further if you can. Ideally, you'll find on this third one that your fingers are going even further than that first one. So each time through, you'll find your flexibility increasing more and more. Reaching over to the right. Taking a couple deep breaths. Reaching over to the left. And then I always prefer that hand over hand, but if you wanted to do a different version, you can do what feels right for you. And then finally that wall angel, or the floor angel. Another version of this is done against the wall. The wall adds a little bit more difficulty than the floor. Right now, gravity is helping my hands kind of come down, but my lower back is touching, my shoulders are touching, pulling my elbows in, squeezing my lats tight, lifting those shoulders up, and back down. We'll get in 5 more reps. So 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And as you're finished, that is it for flexibility A. You still have flexibility B, and then a whole lot of other things with Level Up if you're doing that program. Otherwise, if you're just joining me for some stretches, hopefully you're feeling that. Very total body, a little bit more time focused, but hopefully you're feeling those hamstrings, back, obliques, and a lot through the shoulders too. But glad you guys would have me. We'll see you again next week.